Welcome to the Wolfpack Sports Wire, a podcast from the athletic department at Whitefield Academy. Whitefield Academy is a Christ-centered pre-K through 12 college preparatory school located in Smyrna, Georgia. On this show, we highlight our hardworking coaches and student athletes who are excelling in and out of competition. Welcome back to the Wolfpack Sports Wire. I'm your host, Jack Hunter. It is the week of September 1st, and it is the third episode of the show. I hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend, and now we turn the calendar to another month of Whitefield Academy sports. Today on the show, we are joined by head football coach Robert Walsh off of the team's bye week. We'll also be joined by first-year head volleyball coach Heather DeSantis. First, here's Robert Walsh as the Pack prepare for a Friday night road trip to Social Circle. Coach Walsh, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Feeling a little refreshed after a bye week and looking forward to Friday night traveling on the road against Social Circle.
So a lot of people had some great Labor Day plans. Your Labor Day plans were here at the stadium at Whitefield, practicing, getting the team right, coming out of the bye week, coming out of the retreats last week. How was practice this Labor Day?
We had good energy. Execution, for the most part, that was hit or miss at times just because, you're going against a new defense on offense and, defensively we're going against a new offense. So learning the nuances and the checks and everything like that. Some miscues there, but great energy from the boys and our coaching staff. I think everybody was excited to be back together.
So we talked about this on last week's show, but for those kind of outside our Whitefield community, the 9th and 12th graders were on a retreat last week from Wednesday to Friday. So getting them back kind of, from the short Labor Day weekend for them, getting them back from a few days off. How has that been kind of reacclimating them? Was it good to kind of get them that rest, or is it a little bit of rust going on trying to get them back onto the field?
I think playing 4 straight weeks and preparing for games like we did with our 2 scrimmages and then our 2 opening regular season games, I think allowing them to get away from football and spend time on a retreat that our school does a great job of, centering that around spiritually and building a community that's centered on Christ. And I think being able to take a break away from football, focus on their relationship with Christ and each other and building that community up, I think they felt refreshed yesterday. And, they were flying around. They looked good yesterday. It was exciting to have them back. So
generally in all levels of football, there's always this kind of thing coming out of a bye where teams can kind of come off slow, coming out of the bye, maybe in the first half of that game. This week, though, is kind of an interesting week because, it's not a true bye or short week in the sense of that you practiced on Monday and then you didn't, you got time off, but then you lost those practices with the seniors and freshmen last Wednesday through Friday. So would you say you're kind of at a normal level of preparation, that you would be coming out of a bye week? You think you're kind of ahead of the process, behind the process, with all those kind of factors at play?
We were able to get film on Social Circle last weekend before the retreats and all that stuff. So as a coaching staff, we were able to break down some film, share it with the kids. So the kids have been watching Social Circle now for 2 weeks. So I feel like we've been able to prepare like we normally would on a bye week. I don't think anything's really changed. I think the kids are ready to go, and I think they're prepared.
Yeah, when you come out of a physical Friday night game and then you've got another one the next Friday, I'm assuming you're probably pretty careful about contact, especially early in the week, just trying to let these guys recover a little bit. When you have a bye week and that's not the case, and you have guys that are kind of more fresh during the week, does that change what you're trying to do, what you're trying to improve on in practice? Yeah,
we went live yesterday during our defensive team periods. So we went live to the ground. It was a physical period. Our kids were flying around. They enjoy when I say it's live to the ground. We don't do that very much, but when we do it, the kids get excited about it and do a really good job of executing and tackling in space, which is something that we have to improve on, and they did a really good job yesterday.
So you're playing at Social Circle this Friday. It's kind of great that this is the longest trip of the regular season, and it's not really even that long of a trip, but that kind of speaks to the home schedule that we have this year, 7 games, and then then some pretty close road trips. So what do you take of Social Circle? I mean, obviously kind of an opponent that's familiar to you guys. You guys beat them last year. They're coming in to this game 2-1. What are going to be some things that you're looking out for on their team?
Coach Patton does a really good job of scheming up each year, watching his program develop. He's been there a little while at Social Circle, and he does a really good job. They have two really good running backs, and number 23, Christian Paget. He's a hard downhill runner. He also plays corner for him, which I think he's their best corner as well. And then they have another running back, number 31, Caden Fears, another physical runner that, we're going to have to get behind our shoulder pads and gang tackle both these guys to get them on the ground. Their O-line, no surprise here at Whitefield, we're going to go in again undersized compared to another team. But I feel good about what our defensive game plan is against these guys, but they do a really good job offensively scheming you up and trying to formation you. Defensively, they're going to be big up front. They got two really good linebackers, and J.J. Kraft, and then actually he plays safety. Number 2, Elliott Hamilton, is a really good safety for them. And then A.J. Bailey, he's really athletic. He's long. We're going to have to pay attention to where he's at on the field defensively for sure for them. But they're going to do a good job. They're going to be coached up very well. They're not going to make big mistakes. We're going to have to come ready to play and do our job and anticipate things that they may change against us. Especially
early in the season, you get a lot of takeaways from games at the beginning of the year. I think that's definitely the case. Savannah Christian, Mount Vernon, you learn a lot about your team, how you guys can improve. What are you hoping from this game that your team will take out of it? Playing Social Circle, playing what Social Circle is good at. What are you hoping that your team kind of gets out of playing this game this week and can improve upon going into next week?
Defensively, I think we're playing with more confidence in practice. I watched our team defensive period yesterday. There was a lot more communication, a lot more flying around, sure of their assignments. So I'm looking for our defense to play with a lot of confidence this week, more so than we saw the first 2 weeks. We definitely improved from week 1 against Savannah Christian to Mount Vernon to week 2 defensively. I look for us to take another step in the right direction defensively. And then offensively, we had 2 different games, really and truly. If you look at both games, we had a lot of success in the air in the first week, and then second week we kept the ball on the ground. So I think being able to go into a game where Social Circle has 2 different games where we looked completely different offensively, I think that's tough for them. So I look forward to us hopefully getting more back to 50-50 to keep teams off balance. But, we're going to take what they give us. I feel good about where we're at offensively right now, though.
Traditionally in high school football over the years, it's been you just want to take your out-of-region games, kind of build some confidence. So when you go into region play, where you get seeded for the playoffs, 1 through 4, you're kind of playing at your best. Now with the power rating system, especially in our classification, these out-of-region games, they really can count toward your seeding, how you're positioned towards the playoffs, buys, overall seeding in general. How does that kind of change your mindset, if it does? When you're talking about these early regular season out of region games that traditionally have been, obviously, what doesn't need to be said, you obviously want to win those games, but they're about kind of building towards the end of the season. But now it's really every game you play is important for your seeding.
So I look at every game as a region game for us now. Social Circle last year, they had a really good year after we played them. We were able to receive a lot of points off that win last year. I think that'll probably be the case again if we're able to go on the road here and pick up a win. I think it would be huge for us for power ranking points and purposes for that reason. But yeah, I look at every game right now. It's like a region game every game because you're earning a spot for the playoffs. You're trying to get as high a seed as you can.
All right. Well, that's Robert Walsh. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
I appreciate it, Jack, and go Pack.
Our next guest is Whitefield head volleyball coach Heather DeSantis. Coach DeSantis is in her first year coaching the varsity squad after most recently serving as the head coach for the JV team. the team has had a very tough schedule in the month of August and now turns the calendar to September with some momentum on their side. We talked with Coach DeSantis about what she's seen from the team so far, what she's liked from the team so far, and what they can take going forward into September and the rest of the season. Coach, thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So volleyball is a sport that starts pretty early, still kind of in summertime. You guys have been playing matches for about a month now. What are your overall takeaways about the team's performance so far?
Especially compared to last season, we've had a pretty tough schedule so far. Our girls have played some of the best ball that they have ever played. And unfortunately, while it's resulted in losses, we've learned a lot from them. So our girls are they're really in a good space as far as developing as a team and growing. So it's been a little rocky, but we're in a really good space right now to keep moving forward into area.
So you're in your first year as the head coach for the varsity team. You've been the coach of the JV team before stepping into this role. You obviously have been a volleyball coach for a while, but stepping into this new position as the head varsity coach at Whitefield, what has that experience been like for you, just kind of stepping into that role and learning from being a head coach now and just being in that seat?
The coaching part is the easiest part. It's all of the background stuff that needs to get taken care of and responsibilities that truly have kind of overwhelmed me, but in a good place, because I have the opportunity to really grow this program the way that I want to, the way that I see it. Being able to bring my faith into coaching for the first time while being at Whitefield has really, I think, just increased my mindset as a coach. And I appreciate so much that we have girls that have such big hearts and such good hearts for the Lord that they're willing to play for the Lord. So for me, being able to come here and have that opportunity and now run the program, I feel like we're in a great space, or I'm in a great space to be able to really deepen our program's faith and bringing that to the court. So I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm. And your team is playing some good volleyball right now. In the win column in the last two matches, you guys have won the last two matches. And one of them was a big comeback over Eagles Landing that really kind of got some headlines around the school. So tell me about that match. You guys get down, I believe, 2-1 and then come back and win that match. So what was that like, seeing your team turn it around and win a match like that?
Well, they really came out hard the first set, and we took the first set from them, and then I think we got a little bit comfortable. And I mean, in sets 2 and 3, we got 25 points combined. And I just remember telling the girls, after that third set, don't let somebody else define your team and how you play. And that seemed to really strike something in them, let your team play your game. And that's what they did. They went out there and they proved themselves, and they fought and they played for each other and did not let the other side and what they were doing or the points that they scored define their rhythm, define their tempo on the court. So for them to come back and to really fight and to find that passion and that drive in that tough moment, because all it takes is one set and you've lost the game. So they really built their mindset in those last two sets. And it was so great to see, because they were all so excited and so just joyful. And that's really, as a coach, what you want. You want your athletes to be joyful while they're playing. You want them to find that competitiveness as well as enjoying themselves and their team.
You've got a pretty old team for high school. I mean, mostly juniors and seniors. So what's that been like, having a team that has some experience, has upperclassmen leadership?
It's been great. Our seniors really, really know how to build the team up. They know when to step in. They know how to take care of all of the girls when we're really doing anything. They've just been great leaders, and a number of them have been on the varsity this will be their third season. So it's been great to see. I also have had the opportunity we have 7 juniors on our team, and I've had the opportunity to have them on my JV for the last 2 years. So being able to have them already have that experience with me as a coach, and then being able to bring that to varsity while also having these, veteran seniors that have been on this team and know how it's been run in the past, being able to kind of combine and bounce off each other with the seniors and taking from them as a coach, but also having the juniors know how I run things has actually been a lot smoother of a transition. But the seniors have they step up when it's necessary, and they're always the first ones that want to lead. And that's what you want when you have seniors on a team. So they're really taking that role seriously.
While I mentioned your team is mostly all seniors and juniors, you do have one freshman who's been a big impact for you, Mathis Henritzi. She was our Jersey Mike's athlete of the week for that big game against Eagles Landing. What's that been like for you? We talked about, coaching older players you've coached JV before, but having a ninth grader on your team that has been so dominant and stepping into that role.
It's honestly been great to watch her ease into being not only like a new freshman in high school and having to take that on, but being able to be on this team where she is the youngest, and her friends, she's having to learn how to develop those relationships with these older players, and still be very athletically minded. Because that has to be a lot to carry. So she truly she's wonderful, very coachable. She definitely just wants what's best for the team, and she's very team-based, very humble, but she works hard. So it's not as if her successes are just because she's played some ball here or there. I mean, she left our match last Monday against Atlanta International right after it ended so that she could make it to her practice. Yeah. So when you're talking about a dedicated player who really just wants to improve herself, yes, for herself, but for her team, it's been a really great thing and motivation for our older girls as well to see that dedication, and it helps kind of push them to continue to push themselves.
So as I mentioned in the first question, volleyball is a long season. You guys start really early. You end well into the fall. So you're about a month in. You learned a lot. You've won some great matches the last 2 matches. You played 2 more matches this Thursday. Might be the day this comes out. And so what are you really kind of looking forward to, or what are you really looking for in your team kind of a month into the season that you want to see them continue or want to see them work on over the course of the rest of the year?
We've talked a lot as a team about finding calm in the chaos, that we can control only our side and how we respond. So learning how to really be in a mindset of shake it off, next point, because it does go pretty quickly, and so you don't really have that long. So really working on our mental game and that ability to move forward and not let other teams define how you play. We've been a little rocky, and I say that kind of like a roller coaster. We have some really, really big ups, and then we have some really downs. And I think if we can just learn how to calm our mental game during those moments where we start to dip a little bit, if we can find that, these girls, they know how to play, and they have really great chemistry together, and they all just enjoy being together, which is sometimes difficult. You don't get that with every team. So really just that calm in the chaos and finding that consistency in our mental game is what we're looking for moving forward.
All right. Well, thanks, Coach, for the time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
That's all for today's episode of the Wolfpack Sports Wire. I'd like to give a big thank you to Robert Walsh and Heather DeSantis for joining me today. Hope everybody has a good rest of your week and into the weekend, and we will talk to you next week on The Wire.